Hello everyone and welcome back. We're in Code Realize if sorry, yeah, we're in we're in Code Realize Future Blessings in Saint Germain's After Story. This is episode 2. Unfortunately, there's no chapters in here, so I kind of have to just start off with something like this instead of a chapter heading, but whatever. Let's see. So Saint Germain and Cardia are looking for a answer to her hologium because she has to find a way to live without it. And Saint Germain bought them some extra time with Omnibus to allow them to search for this way. And I think they've been gone a year, they said, from the others. And they're in France right now, searching for more answers. And I forgot his name, but Hermes. They were looking for Hermes' lab because he was the last person known to be working on the horologium, aside from Victor, because no one knows that Victor worked on it. And they went back to their mansion now. They did a little tour of Paris, and now they're back at their mansion. After we finish our walk around Paris, welcoming me and my exhaustion is a large mansion that I very much recognize. Saint Germain once led me to a different mansion in the past, but this is a very similar experience. Unsurprisingly, it seems that Saint Germain has his mansions constructed the same in order to maintain a degree of order. I think that's funny. Even all the way in France, it still looks the same as the one in London, as the two of them in London. But a lovely thing to be able to relive the sense that I'm back in London. But something that's similar goes far beyond convenient. It ends up somewhere in the realm of the eerie. In any case, we will gather information with this mansion as our base of operations. A few days later, Saint Germain and I were living just how we pleased. Sometimes going around various places of Paris together to gather information, at other times acting as a tag coach for the children while Saint Germain and I went about our days separately. A handful of those days passed. It's really loud. See you too. Next time I'll teach you all about setting traps. Oh my goodness. She's teaching a little child about thievery. Around the time when the setting sun and stretching shadows inform us of the end of the daytime, in the midst of hurrying back home to the mansion, I hear a warmly familiar voice.
Oh? そこにいるのはひょっとしてカルディアじゃねえか
I already know who it is. Huh?
なんだよお前フランスに来てたのか
Lupin! Ah, Lupin. I can't help but break into a smile as I see the face of someone whom I hadn't seen for a year. It's none other than a friend whom I shared countless adventures with. I'm shocked. Lupin, why are you in France?
おいおい俺はもともとフランス人だぜ故郷に戻っててもおかしかねえだろ
Hometown, huh? I haven't read all of Lupin's route yet in Code Realize Guardians of Rebirth, so I don't know yet, or I don't remember yet that France is his hometown.
つうかサンはどうしたよ一緒にいるんじゃないのか
Ah, he is. We're going about our tasks, and he probably is already back at the mansion. I had just finished playing with the children and decided to head back. I wonder if Lupin will laugh at me if I tell him that I was teaching the kids with his very own tag techniques. Watching me as I giggle, Lupin tilts his head to the side.
へえなんか意外だなもっとぴったりくっついて行動してると思ったのによ
There are times when it's more efficient to split up. I laugh as Lupin snorts in response. I was just returning to the mansion now, so why don't you come by if you'd like? I'm sure Saint Germain would be happy too.
おそうだなサンのやつにも挨拶ぐらいしとかねえと
Yay! I lead the way as we reminisce.
ルパン
He looks so surprised.
よ久しぶりだなサン
Saint Germain's expression immediately changes to one of surprise when he sees Lupin's face. After guiding Lupin to the mansion, we enjoy tea, relaxing together as we rejoice our chance reunion.
驚きましたね。まさかあなたもフランスに来ていたとは。 ひょっとして名探偵にでも追われて逃亡生活の真っ最中ですか？
In other words, Schultz.
そんなわけねえだろ。探し物が一段落したんで一度パリに戻ってきたんだよ。しかし本当にロンドンの屋敷とそのまんま同じ作りなんだな。
I can certainly understand Lupin's reaction as he looks around in wonder. It's hardly a shock for me having experienced a duplicate mansion before, but Lupin must be quite surprised.
ともあれ、ルパン、あなたも変わりなさそうで何よりです。
It hasn't been very long since I finished Saint Germain's route, but I've missed your voice.
そう簡単にどうにかなったりしねえよ。
Actually, it's been a while since I recorded the last episode too. I don't know how many days it's been, but I'd have to look because I haven't uploaded. It's just on private until the first game has been fully released.
つうか、フランスに来てんなら連絡の一つもよこせって。他の連中も会いたがってたぜ。
But would all of them really come to France? Like, why would Victor come to France? I don't think he has any reason to.
もともとパリの次はロンドンに挨拶に行く予定でしたよ。
Are the others well?
なあ、俺も先月ロンドンを離れたばっかだが、全員元気なもんだったぜ。そのあたりもいろいろと語ってやりてえところだが。
He glances at the clock and makes a wry laugh.
しかし気づけばもう夜更け。この泥棒めは恋人たちの時間を無意に奪うことはいたしません。
Now that he mentions it, it is rather late. The gentleman thief stands with a grin and takes an elegant bow.
ま、俺もしばらくはフランスにいる予定だ。今度は日を改めて明るい時間に来るからよ。土産話はその時にな。
After Lupin left the mansion with his goodbyes, Saint Germain and I exchange words as I tidy up the empty teacups. But wow, what a coincidence. To meet Lupin in a foreign country far away from London. Why are you unsure?
本当に偶然でしょうか？
What? My tidying hands stop as I raise my hand with his rather stiff voice. But Saint Germain only narrows his eyes as he smiles gently.
意外とあなたが心配でわざわざ顔を出しに来てくれたのかもしれませんよ。
I think you're just being suspicious.
ルパンも皆もあなたが大好きですからね。
Oh, don't say such bizarre things. I laugh wryly and make to continue cleaning again when Saint Germain shakes his head and makes a small smile.
もう夜も遅いですし、あとは私が片付けておきますから、先にお休みになっては。
What? But...
任せてください。
Very well. A gentle yet unyielding voice leaves me no other choice, so I concede and let it go. Good night then, Saint Germain.
ええ。おやすみなさい、カルディアさん。
Oh, I love the Japanese words for good night. It's such a pretty, it's such a pretty word. I don't know. Saint Germain is unsettled. Why are you unsettled? Is he unsettled because Lupin showed up? Lupin's encroaching on your woman. The following day, there was a rather odd atmosphere from morning on. After exchanging our morning greetings, Saint Germain headed off somewhere, saying he had business to attend to. Meanwhile, having no business to attend to, I decided to clean the mansion. However, I wonder if something had happened to Saint Germain. To leave without telling me where he's going. Setting aside the time when we first met, he's tossed that habit aside in recent times. A tinge of anxiety nagging at me, I wipe the windows with a dry cloth. I can't help but think back again. It feels like Saint Germain had been acting odd since a good while back. At a glance, he looks like his usual self, but there's an uncanny feeling that something's a bit off. This involves someone who is the most dear to me. Being unable to determine the source of my discomfort is vexing, to say the least. Phew. I let out a breath after finishing the windows and take a look around me. From the paintings that adorn the walls to the colors of the wavering curtains. Did I say wavering? Yeah. I'm like wavering or waving, I don't know what it said anymore. This mansion is an exact replica of the one in London I knew so well. Except for our friends who are conspicuously absent. Victor, who always offered counsel, Impy, who always livened up the mood, Van Helsing, who always lent a helping hand without a word, and Cece, who would worry about me and cheer me up with his playing. Feeling a tinge of loneliness from that fact, I slowly return to my cleaning when I hear a knock. Oh, who would knock at the door? Oh.
Yo! お邪魔するぜ。
I'm like, I can only see Lupin knocking on the door. I can't see Saint Germain knowing too many people. Ah, Lupin.
なーにびっくりした顔してんだよ。土産話をしに来るって言っただろ。
Yeah, except you're missing the host. Alright, I just wasn't expecting that to be on a morning like this.
それはこの泥棒紳士めが麗しき姫との再会をそれだけ心待ちにしていた証拠です。
Don't say that with Saint Germain around. He'll actually take offense to that. Lupin smiles and looks around with curiosity.
ってそういやサンはどうした？まだ寝てんのか？
Saint Germain has been out since early this morning. He was in a hurry and said he'd be late. That's right. It might be the perfect opportunity if Lupin is here. I make up my mind and decide to spill the discomfort that welled up in my chest. Lupin, you see...
サンの様子が変ね。
He has. I can't articulate how or why, but I can't shake that feeling. He hears me out, crossing his arms and falling into contemplation. Sorry to be so vague. Maybe it's just my imagination.
いや、そうとは限らねえよ。あいつのことをずっと近くで見続けてきたお前がそう言うんだ。なら、何かあるんだろうさ。
Lupin smiles gently and lightly caresses my head.
よし、このルパン様に任せとけ。俺の方でも調べてやるからよ。
I continue my cleaning efforts after Lupin departs, but Saint Germain didn't return that day. Really? The whole day? Wait, even at night? Carrying a hazy feeling, I decide that there's little else I can do than sleep. Midnight. Wow. That doesn't seem very nice of him. I know something's bothering him, but that doesn't mean you could just, like, leave her alone because you're feeling discomfort. I can't sleep. Try as I might, I can't sleep, so I head into the hallway for a change of scenery. I suppose it's technically the next day at this point. The moonlight pouring in through the window casts faint paintings along the hallway walls. Painting or shadows. All that disturbs the silence are my footsteps. It's eerie in this mansion all by my lonesome. Saint Germain, what could have happened today? I thought I'd take a walk to calm myself, but all I can think of is Saint Germain, and the prospect of sleep slips yet further from my grasp. Maybe I'm just overthinking things and there's no need to worry so much. I would definitely be worrying if he's been gone for an entire day and hasn't come back, especially with how possessive he's been over you. But what if something happened and I just didn't realize it? Then, as if in response to my doubts. Blending in with my footsteps, a faint sound tickles my ear. What is that? The source of the sound is outside. Lured by the steady sound, I head towards the courtyard. And there? Why would you come back and then not even greet her? How rude. I don't understand. Especially after you've been gone an entire day. In the night's garden, illuminated by the light of the moon, Saint Germain stands alone. Perhaps he's tending to the flowers. I can hear the rhythmic snipping sound of shears, not unlike that of a second hand that marks the passing of time. I stare blankly at Saint Germain, who stands amidst the flowers.
月夜の散歩ですか？ずいぶん夜更かしなお嬢さんですね。
And that's how you greet her after being gone an entire day. Presumably already sensing my presence, he raises his head and stares at me. Hey, Germain, you're back?
ええ、つい先ほど。そちらこそ、もう夜も更けたのに、まだ起きていたとは。やはり枕が変わると、なかなか寝つけませんか？
No, not really. The pillow and bed aren't poison resistant, but I can sleep just fine. But today I feel rather restless.
そうですか。では、私と同じですね。
Why don't you just talk about it?
こんな綺麗な月の晩は、どうにも眠りにつくのが惜しい。
The snipping stops and he turns towards me. He looks beautiful under the moonlight as he carries the cut flowers like an otherworldly entity. Perhaps owing to the first time I saw him, I almost feel like we're back in time at the moment of our first meeting. You've been acting strangely. Would it be alright for me to say such a thing directly? Well, yeah, I would. Overwhelmed by the atmosphere of this moonlit night, I'm unable to voice the words that eat away at me. In the end, what comes out of my mouth is hardly more than small talk. Are you tending to the garden?
ええ、何分久々に訪れたもので。
For quite some time, though I'd say it looks very nice. So many flowers are in bloom. It's so beautiful.
あなたにそう思っていただけるのなら、手間をかけただけの甲斐がありました。
He smiles, holding the flowers that he cut and arranged.
美しいものは心を癒します。不死者だった私は古美術品のように時を経ても変わらぬ美しさを追い求めていましたが、
Is he talking about himself or the flowers?
花の持つ一瞬の美しさもまた同じほど愛おしい。
As if lured in by the flowers, I stand beside Saint Germain. All I can do is gaze silently at him as he caresses the petals of the flower bed. They're so beautiful, so gentle and graceful. And temporary, I suppose. The lovely flowers waver in the soft night's breeze. For now, I can only take in their intoxicating fragrance. But I'd like to touch them one day, and not just flowers. Oh, she's so sad. She wants to touch someone. You can touch Saint Germain. He's already told you this. I'm not sure which is faster, my words or his reaction. Such a pretty scene. Saint Germain? The scent of the bouquet he holds gently tickles my nose. I can feel his warmth, even his pulse, as he embraces me from behind. But the sigh that caresses my ear isn't one of sweet passion, but more resembles one of suffering and anguish. Rather than embarrassment, I let out a voice of bewilderment. What's wrong so suddenly?
毒が
Huh?
もしもこのまま毒が消えなかったとしたら、
There are words that sound entirely uncharacteristic coming from him who'd always smile and tell me that it's all right. In response to his sudden question, I let out another voice tinged with confusion. You'd ask what I do, but the whole purpose of us traveling like this is to prevent that very scenario, is it not?
そうですね。ええ、その通りです。オムニブスに提示された条件は、ホロロギウムを無効化すること。当然、毒に対応できなければ、その先どうするも何もない。
Even though I know it's meaningless presumption, I cannot help but ask. His arms that hold me tightly clearly communicate as much. So I gave his question serious consideration and replied, if we can't get rid of the poison, that's something so frightful I'd rather not even think about it. But if it were to happen, would I go back to the way I was? devoid of human contact, unable to touch anyone like my days back in Wales. As an icy chill runs through my spine, Saint Germain puts more force into his arms as if to contain my trembling.
大丈夫。仮にあなたの毒が抜けなかったとしても、私だけはそばにいます。
Omnibus would probably just have her killed instead of put back in isolation. That was her whole point, was to get rid of Cardia.
あなたが草花を枯らし、生ける者を殺す猛毒の少女だとしても、あなたの口づけが甘い死の口づけだったとしても、私だけは受け入れられる。私だけは共にいられる。それではあなたは満足できませんか？
He doesn't want to get rid of her poison. He's afraid of what will happen and where she'll go, that she'll go away from him. But you can't do that because Omnibus said that you have to.
私だけではあなたの慰めにはなりませんか？
Why does he say such things? As his voice trembles, I can only wonder what he fears. A pain like the bite of the rose's thorn pricks my chest. Saint Germain's voice wavers in anxiety, giving the illusion that it was left behind in an unknown time and place. Whether or not it's the truth or a lie, should I nod? Even if the toxin were to remain, I'm fine as long as you're here. But just as I'm about to nod, the flowers are shaken by the wind and touch my cheek. From the spot that touched my cheek, the flowers he holds begins to rot. It's like my own body is warning me of my thoughts. No, Saint Germain. Even if those are lies or presumptions, I don't want to think about what would happen if my poison doesn't go away. I want to get rid of my poison. I want to touch flowers, to touch you, to live my life as a human being. Just like how you wish to live with me by casting away your immortality.
そうですね。
After slowly easing his embrace from me, he shakes his head slightly. When I turn, I meet with his smile like that of when we had met for the first time.
すみません。妙なことを言ってしまって。
You don't have to be afraid of losing her. She's not going to leave you.
もう夜も遅い。私は片付けをしていきますから、先に戻って休んでいてください。
But
すみません。今だけは一人にしてほしいのです。
he faces his back to me and begins to walk back to the flowers that bloom fully. What is worrying you? What is causing you to suffer so? He continued to tend to the flowers, my words never reaching him. Even after Cardia leaves, I feel like I'm fixed to that spot. I can only stand there as I gaze up at the moon that shines dimly beyond the clouds. I can only assume that something is not right with me. To say that I alone will remain by her side if her toxin remains, it almost sounded like I had given up on ridding her of her poison.
私はなぜ彼女にあんなことを。いいんです。カルディアさん。あなたは好きなだけ触れていい。私だけはあなたを受け入れられるのですから。
Since that day when I accepted the feeling of her smooth, warm skin, I probably harbored a twisted joy somewhere in the corner of my mind.
彼女に触れることができるのは世界でただ一人、自分だけ。私は彼女にとって唯一無二の存在でいられるのだと。
Until your immortality is gone. Omnibus said that your immortality is fleeting. You will die one day. So even as I suppressed the horologium and desired a way to rid her of the toxin, there was always the slight hesitation in my heart, putting off investigating Trismegistus. That's what it is. Putting off investigating Trismegistus' lab until a later time is proof enough. That's the word that I couldn't think of it when I said Hermes. Early on, had I realized that there may be documents there that could serve as the solution.
呆れますね。まさか自分がこうも醜いとは。
Well, at least he's realizing why he's doing this so he can fix it.
何が安心してくださいだ。何が方法はきっとありますだ。
She had her eyes set on a future in which she could believe in me, live with me.
彼女の心を裏切ってまでそんなに彼女を独占したかったのか、サンジェルマン。本当に私は。
これはまたずいぶんらしくねえ顔してるじゃねえか。
Echoing through the silent night is a voice that I recognize. Jumping with a startle, I raise my head. Atop the fence that's painted in the moonlight, emerging from there is one man whom I wanted to see the least in this moment.
ルパン。
The least.
泥棒紳士アルセーヌ・ルパン。今宵は迷える恋人たちのもとへ参上いたしましたってな。
Or something to that extent.
驚きましたね。一体いつからそこに？
Long enough.
ん？ああ、ついさっきだよ。けど勘の鋭いお前が気づかないとは、よほど別のことで頭いっぱいだったって証拠かね。
As I expected, he was listening in on me. Lupin makes a wry laugh and speaks with a quiet voice.
そういや、まだきちんとは聞いちゃいなかったな。ホロロギウムの件はどうなってる？ちゃんと進展はあったのか？
まあまあですね。今は古い知り合いが持っていた研究資料を捜索しているところです。
なるほど。それが見つかりゃ、あいつの毒も抑えられるってわけか？
ええ。そうすれば彼女は普通の女の子として生きていける。触れたいものに触れ、一人で何でもできるようになる。とても喜ばしいことです。
喜ばしいっつう割には浮かねえ顔をしてるじゃねえか。
He is truly a thorn in my side. Seldom have I met those of equal perception and intellect. Keeping up my facade is surely an act of futility. Along with a sigh of resignation, I spill what has been eating away at me.
ええ。その通りですよ。変わっていく彼女を喜ぶ気持ちに偽りなどありませんが、私にはそれが少しだけ不安なのです。寿命が決まっても未だ私は不死者。毒に満たされた彼女の身を唯一受け入れられる存在。
So I guess he still has his regenerative powers until he dies, but he is going to die one day. But where does that leave her? Because she won't die, right? As long as she has the horologium. So if you don't take it out, like, she'll still be living even after you're gone. So you won't be the constant in her life after that point.
ですが、その彼女の身から毒が失われたら、私が唯一無二の存在でなくなったら、私はもう。
それ以上言ったら殴るぜ。
I know, I'm like, it looks like you're making him upset. It's an awfully cold voice. Eyes narrowed and seeped with hostility, Lupin slowly comes closer.
なあ、サン・ジェルマン伯爵。今の俺の気持ちがわかるか？
あなたの気持ち。
ああ、そうだ。俺が幸せにしてやるって誓った女を、こいつならって信じた仲間に託したってのに。その男に泣き言なんざ聞かされた惨めな男の気持ちがよ。
This proves that he was in love with her all this time during the main game. I made a comment of this during Saint Germain's route, I think, but then I cut it out. But about this little confrontation, he's like, "You need to man up and take care of her." Because he's been in love with her this whole time, but he had to back away because Cardia didn't have feelings for him.
よく聞け、サン・ジェルマン。
He grabs me by the collar and my airways begin to tighten. Lupin's eyes burn with anger, or perhaps with sadness or pity. I can hardly tell in my present state.
俺は初めてあいつとカルディアと出会った時に一つ誓いを立てた。この泥棒紳士の名にかけて必ずあいつの毒を取り除いてやるってな。お前がこの後に及んでまだグダグダ言ってるようなヘタレだってんならしょうがねえ。主役交代だ。俺があいつの毒を消して普通の女の子にしてやるよ。
His words feel like a bludgeon to my head, causing me to recoil. He pushes me back violently, staring me down with a cold glare. In my wavering vision, Lupin was beginning to walk towards the mansion. It's all fading away. With unreliable steps, I chase his back that draws further and further away.
待ってください。
自信がねえんだろ。あいつの毒が消えちまったらもう自分のところに引き止められねえって。なら引っ込んでろよ。
Oh my goodness, I forgot he said that. Like, I remember him saying that, like, if you don't take her, then I will, sort of thing. But I didn't realize he said, what, you're not confident? Then back off, I'll take her. It's all fading away, the future that I wished for. The future that I was supposed to walk alongside Cardia. My trembling throat forces out the words on its own.
嫌だ。
Don't take her. Oh, he's not so sad. What emerges is entirely unbefitting of a man who has lived for thousands of years. I yell like that of a young child.
毒がなくなっても関係ない。周りがどうあろうと関係ない。彼女はあなたにも他の誰にも渡さない。
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine what Lupin thinks right now hearing you say all this. In that desperate tone. Because...
私が彼女を、カルディアさんを世界で一番愛している。
My desperate cry tears through the night's quiet. In the silence torn asunder, only my ragged breath remains. In the midst of it, without so much as turning to me, Lupin mutters.
だ、そうだぜ、カルディア。
Oh, I forgot she was listening this whole time. Now she knows why you've been upset. Saint Germain. And there, standing beneath the tree with a troubled expression on her face, is the dearest person to me of all. The one I love, whose name had just been cried out.
もう一つだけおせっかいを焼いてやるよ。さん。不安だのなんだの、うだうだ悩んでたみてえだが、それを一度でもこいつに話したか？
それは。
無駄に賢いやつはこれだから困るぜ。全部自分の中で考えんなよ。
Oh, poor Lupin. He had to put his emotions on the line. He had to... I don't know how to explain it. He had to show his inner feelings, I guess, in order to pull out Saint Germain's for the sake of Cardia. I feel bad for him.
あいつの気持ちが不安なら本人に聞きゃいいだろうが。
His back is still turned, but I can sense what sort of expression he's making. As if smiling from his back, Lupin lightly waves his hand.
つうことで、おせっかいはここまでだ。俺は席を外させてもらうぜ。
Poor Saint Germain. He must be a nervous wreck right now. At least I would be. After yelling all that desperately and then finding Cardia just staring there like shocked. After Lupin is gone, the curtain of silence falls on the garden once more. Only Saint Germain and I remain. I'm the one who breaks the awkward silence. Saint Germain.
情けない姿を見られてしまいましたね。
I actually beg to differ. I think your lowest was when you were on your knees begging Omnibus to give you more time. I think that was at your lowest. But you were doing it to save her, so I don't know. Maybe this is your lowest in your redemption. I don't know.
私は、その。
No, I've heard more than enough, so allow me to speak next. I'm sorry for not noticing sooner that you were troubled.
いえ、それは私があなたに言わなかったのが。
Forestalling Saint Germain amid apology, I take one step closer to him. Wait, why did it spelled his name wrong? Whatever. I feel him jolt slightly. First, I want to say one thing clearly. For you to accept my poison kiss, that makes me so happy. I touch my own lips gently with my fingertips. I trace around them as if to study the shape and then shake my head. But it's not because I can touch you that I admire you. I think about wanting to touch you because I admire you. It's the other way around, I tell him. His eyes go wide as if he's in shock. It's just like you said, regardless of the poison, I love you. So I...
今度こそ待ってください。それ以上言わせたら私は本当に情けない男になってしまう。
But why? Why will you be a wretched man? Just let her love you. Why don't you just kiss her then if you want her to be quiet?
いや、もう十分に情けないか。
With a bitter laugh, Saint Germain continues.
もう少しだけ待っていてください。カルディアさん。今の告白をやり直すのは、あなたのホロロギウムを制御する手段を見つけたその時に。
And then we will have our true kiss. The one of passion that you have not let me have yet because you're afraid of hurting me. Can we find a way, though?
見つけますよ。
With a wide smile, Saint Germain gently pulls me in closer.
トリスメギストスの研究資料、私は絶対に見つけ出してみせます。いつか光の当たるところで皆に祝福されながら、何に隔てられることもない本当の口づけを交わすために。
I knew it. It's been your long-awaited desire.
やれやれ。世話の焼ける二人だぜ。
I know, and I feel bad. You just have to watch it all. While the woman you love is being loved by another man. Atop a faraway tree, Lupin gazes at the garden scenery. He makes a bitter laugh as he watches the two nestle close together from the corner of his eye.
たく。お前がもっと嫌なやつだったらよかったのによ。
Why, I say you could punch him and take Cardia away. Poor Lupin. Oh my gosh, I can't say how sorry I feel for him. I know it's gonna get tiring me saying this over and over again, but my heart just breaks for him. I feel so bad. I love Saint Germain so much, but Lupin's my next favorite, and it just hurts me to see him having to watch that and having to live with it. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna stop this episode because it's 44 minutes of recording, less time after I cut it down, but it's also like 2 a.m. and I think this is a really good stopping point because I don't know what's going to be next. It could be another 40-minute long stretch or whatever, and I wanted to keep it as close to an hour as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. But if you guys did enjoy, drop a thumbs up down below and or subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to talk about it. And then I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.